Hi, my name is Clementina and I work at Kids Saving the Rainforest. Welcome to the rainforest of Costa Rica. We are located in a place called Quepos, right by the Pacific Ocean. We are a sanctuary and rescue center. We were founded by two 9-year-old girls in 1999. The girls started it all with a arts and crafts store, and then they started raising funds and they started reforesting the rainforest because they noticed that a lot of plants and trees were being cut off for different reasons, and so they wanted the rainforest to survive and the animals living in it to have a good life quality, and so they started reforesting the whole place. And then one day they had an injured sloth and they took it where they were, and that's when they realized that they needed a clinic where they could help the animals that were ill. And then as more animals came inside the clinic, they realized that they also needed a place to put the animals that were not able to go back into the rainforest, and so they also made the sanctuary where we only have animals that are not candidates for releasing. So we rescue all kinds of animals, from opossums, kinkajous, monkeys, birds, and we also have like a very big part which is the Sloth Nursery. I am responsible for all of the Sloth Nursery, so you could kind of call me the sloth mom. Over here we have Yogi, which is a 3-toed sloth. There are 2 species of sloths in Costa Rica. There's the 2-toed sloth and the 3-toed sloth, and we rescue both of them. So 2-toed sloths and 3-toed sloths are known for being slow. However, they are not slow because they are lazy, but they are slow because their diet relies on leaves. And so leaves do not have a lot of nutrients on them. And that's why they are slow, because they need to not waste a lot of energy. And so all of their movement and all of their activities are taking in their minds that they don't want to like spend any energy if it's not completely necessary to do so. So that is why sloths are mainly slow. They eat different kinds of leaves, but one of their most favorite is cinnamon leaves, which I have some over here, and I'm gonna give Yogi if he wants to have it, of course. So sloths can eat a lot of leaves throughout the day, and it is my responsibility to go outside and forage for their food. Most of these leaves I need to go around and chop them for them, and then put them or hang them where they live, so they can start getting to know the leaves, and they can start, as they grow up, foraging on their own. So there are like a couple of things that I need to teach them. One of them is foraging. The other one is I teach them how to go to the bathroom. So sloths only go to the bathroom once a week when they are adults. If they have the nutrition and the hydration, like the necessary hydration, they can go more than once a week, but it's commonly known that they only go once a week. And the reason why this happens is because sloths are very vulnerable when they go on the ground, and so they try not going on the ground as often, because that means that they are more endangered than when they are hanging on the tree. So they will spend most of their life in the tree. That's why they have evolved in several different ways. So sloths have extra vertebrae in their backs, so that allows them to have a better range of vision, so they can see where they want to go and see where they have leaves and where they don't have leaves. Also, a thing that I need to teach them is how to swim. So sloths, although it might sound a little weird, are very good swimmers. Depending on the area, they swim more often or less often. In the area that we are in right now, they don't really swim that often, but there is an area in Panama where the pygmy sloth lives, that they live in the mangroves, and all of that area is very like full of water. And so in order to move from one place to the other, sometimes they need to swim. And it's very important for these babies to learn how to swim in case one day they will have the need to go from one place to another and they can't find like a tree to cross. So three-toed sloths are like Yogi that you see here. They are a little bit like smaller. They have this raccoon patch on their faces, and their fur is kind of like a brown, gray, and nude kind of color. And when they grow up, they develop some algae and some moths on their fur that are only found in their fur. And scientists don't really have the answer to why this is happening. However, there are a couple of guesses or hypotheses, one of them being that the moths provide food for the algae, and then whenever they don't have any food sources, they can lick the algae off their fur. However, there hasn't been like a lot of cases where scientists have seen them licking their fur like cats. So that might not be the answer. The other answer that I feel it's much more coherent is that it provides them camouflage. So sloths don't really have a lot of defense mechanisms. Their biggest defense mechanism is to be very quiet and be very slow. And so having camouflage would help them even more, because it will be very hard for a predator to find them in the tree. So algae will make them kind of green, and they will blend on the tree much more easily. However, these type of sloth like Yogi is, they are diurnal, meaning that all of their activities are during the day, and the two-toads are nocturnal. So two-toads and three-toads are very, very, very different. It's like almost talking about cats and dogs. They have evolved apart from each other for almost 40,000 years. And so it is very different. Two-toed sloths are nocturnal, meaning all of their activities are during the night. So they will forage during the night and do everything. They also are a little bigger. They can weigh up to like 7 or 8 kilos. They have very big teeth and very big claws. Not that these ones don't have very big claws, but the two-toads have even bigger claws. And their fur is yellow. They don't have any kind of camouflage like style, because during the night it's like not necessary. Also, their home range is very big, so they go around a lot, and they're a little bit faster. Three-toed sloths have a patch on their backs when they are males and they are adults. Meanwhile, two-toed sloths do not have it, so that makes it a lot like easier for us to know if it's a male or a female when it's a three-toed. But when it's a two-toed, you have to wait a while for us to know what gender he is or she is. Also, since sloths, both of them, only eat leaves, they have developed some changes on their stomach. So they have like chambers on their stomach, like extra. It's not like cows that have multiple stomachs, but they have like parts in their stomach that will allow them to digest the leaves, because digesting leaves is very difficult. They live up to like in the wild like 20 years, but there have been some studies that say that they can live up to like 40 years or 30 years. So it's a very long time that the animal lives. They can spend up to 2 years with their moms. So of course, here in Kids Saving the Rainforest, we try for providing them that not only food source, but all of that comfort that they would have when they have like a real mom. One very funny part about sloths is that although they are called two-toed and three-toed, they both have 3 toes in their feet, and then they have, depending if it is like a 3-toed, it will have 3 claws on its hand, or if it's a 2-toed, it'll have 2 claws in its hand. So that, I don't know who named them like that. What's your thumb? They are also very flexible. Again, they're adapted to live in the trees, so they need that flexibility. They're not very muscular, which makes them even more flexible. And they also don't have a very good vision. They have a kind of good smell, but their senses are not like the best. They have adapted, like their claws are like hooks, so whenever they are hanging, they don't use any energy. They just hook themselves to the branch, and so they don't have to, like most people will think that they are very tired, because who wouldn't be like very tired after hanging for 24 hours? But they are not, because they don't use any muscles in order to be hanging. Also, if we were to hang upside down for the amount of time that they do, probably our head would explode. However, they have developed this adaptation where their organs are stuck or sticking like in their chest cavity with like a bag, so their organs do not move as they are hanging upside down, which is very important because it would be very damaging if they did. They normally only have 1 baby every time they, like a female sloth gets pregnant. They again normally have only 1 baby, and their gestation period, it's around like 7 or 8 months, so it does take them like a long time to have babies. However, and this is gonna sound real bad, sloth moms are not the best moms. We have a lot of orphan cases all around the sanctuaries in Costa Rica, because there is a high rate of rejection from the mother, and so, like when the baby falls, and the mom will not pick it up, or maybe she will try once only to pick it up, but if the baby is not fast enough to go back to the mom, then she feels like it's too dangerous and there's probably something wrong with the baby, and so most of the time she will not pick it she would not go and pick it back up. So that's why we need to take care of them. Fortunately, in Costa Rica, sloths are not considered endangered of extinction. They are a species though that is threatened because a lot of the areas where they live are being chopped off for numerous reasons, like they need to make streets, or they need to plant palm trees, or they want to plant pineapples or bananas. And so all of the trees that the sloths live in are getting more and more scarce. Also, since they don't have that forest where they can climb from one tree to another, they sometimes will use the highway or the or streets to cross from one place to another, or the electric wires, and they can get electrocuted or hit by a car, which is really bad. Although you might think that sloths are very lazy, they are not. Sloths only sleep like 10 hours, which is not a lot more from humans. However, they divide their periods of sleeping through the day. So maybe when they're in the jungle, it might seem like they are sleeping, but they're really not. They're just like hanging very quietly. And they don't spend like the 10 hours straight just sleeping, but they will like sleep and then wake up, and sleep and then wake up. Of course, the babies that we have here sleep a little bit more than normal wild babies because they don't have the need to forage. Because we provide them with all of the food, so they will sleep a little bit more. Also, a very interesting thing is sloths are considered solitary. However, that doesn't mean that they are not social. Although their bonds are not as strong as, for example, primates like us, that we make like very strong bonds, they will hang in the same tree with other sloths without having any problems. So some of the babies that we have here, we have found that are glad to be with other babies. The good thing is that since they don't make this bond, there is a higher chance of them being able to be released back in nature, because they, like after a couple of years, they do not depend on the surrogate mother for anything, and they don't even like remember the surrogate mother, which is good for them, but not for me. They are being threatened by the illegal pet trade, so although they might seem very cute, and they are, we here at Kids Saving the Rainforest encourage all the people to not have them as pets. They make terrible pets. Their diets are very specific, and so it's very hard to maintain them in somewhere else that it's not the rainforest. Especially three-toads, they have not thrived in zoos or any place apart from like a rainforest rescue center. So also we don't encourage people touching them because they can get very stressed. So that's also like another factor that it's very important. Although they are very cute, we need to respect them, and we need to respect the wildlife and not touch it, and be very careful with that. I never thought that I was gonna end up studying sloths. I always thought that they were cute, but they weren't like my number one. So I initially worked with primates. Like all of my life I wanted to work with orangutans, like everybody. But there isn't any orangutans where I'm from, which is Mexico. So I started studying the best other primate, which is howler monkeys. And I did some studies on howler monkeys, and I thought that I was going to come here to do some other work with primates. However, when I first came, the person that was taking care of sloths needed to go back home, and they asked me if I wanted to take care of them, and I said yes. And I guess like the first sloth that I took care of was a little baby called Anakin, which is 5 months now, and it was just like instant love. So I found they are very interesting. There isn't a lot of things that we know about sloths. They're very understudied, so it's awesome to have more people being able to study them and find out what it's the deal with them, because they are very, very old animals. They have been on Earth for like a long time, and it's very interesting to see how they've managed to survive, although they are very delicate. So that's how I ended up taking care of sloths. So the main predators are big cats like jaguars that can climb up trees, of course. Another one is a Harpy Eagle, which is a very big eagle that might get like baby ones, but not adult ones. Adult ones are very heavy. So those two are the main ones. However, fortunately in this area we don't have Harpy Eagles, and unfortunately jaguars are very endangered of extinction, so there isn't a lot of jaguars around here, which is sad, but at the same time they don't get eaten as much. Right now we have 11 sloths, so we have 5 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lice. Right now we have 9 sloths, 10 with an adult one. So we have 6 two-toads and we have 4 three-toads, but we've had up to 13 or 15 baby sloths at a time. What we do here is that we will take care of them up until they are about a year, and they are big enough and strong enough, and then we put them in like another cage called the soft release. In that soft release they have a lot more space to climb around. They pee and poo on their own whenever they want to, and they get a lot more wild food and a lot less milk. So after they have spent a couple of months on that soft release cage, we transfer them to another place in another institution called the Sloth Institute. And in there they have even a bigger cage where they can basically choose to go in or out of the cage whenever they want to, and that's like the process of releasing. So the ultimate goal is for them not to come back to the cage ever again, and for them to be able to forage completely on their own and have interactions with wild sloths and have like a normal sloth life. So that is the process that all of our babies are going to go through in order to be re-released, which is our main goal and the reason that we're working, basically. Since sloths are, again, leaf eaters, they are lactose intolerant, and so since we cannot get sloth milk because it will be impossible, we give them goat's milk. So depending on their age, we give them goat's milk every 2 hours if they're very babies. If they are a little bit more grown up, then they get every 4 hours, and then every 6 hours, and then twice a day or 3 times a day. And that is like the process of rearing with baby sloths. So thank you for watching. If you want to learn more or donate, you can go to our webpage that's going to be in the bottom. And I hope you enjoyed it. Bye. Let's go, George.